In this video, we're going to talk about suppressors, a little bit of history, how they mount, etc. So suppressors, also known as silencers, were invented in 1909 by Hiram Maxim. At least I think it's pronounced Maxim, M-A-X-I-U-M. So Hiram went ahead and invented these, and he called them the Maxim silencer. So the original name for these guys was a silencer. However, they've been known to be called suppressors as well. What's the difference between the two? Well, really nothing. I prefer the term suppressor only because it does more. In fact, it doesn't even really silence the firearm. You might get lucky sometimes and it brings the decibel level, next to nothing, but there's always some type of sound. But it suppresses recoil, it suppresses muzzle flash, right? So it does, and it suppresses the noise, it doesn't silence it. So I prefer suppressor, but you call it silencer, it doesn't make a bit of difference. In fact, back in those days, they called them mufflers, and today the cool kids call them cans. So you got all kinds of different terms you can use for describing these guys. Along came 1934, the Tommy gun days, automatic weapons, silencers, etc., were all put on the National Firearms Act list, which means you had to go through this heck of a rigmarole to get them. You still got to do that today, process background checks and fingerprints, and sometimes wait up for a while. You had to wait up to 9 months to get these things, and there was a $200 tax stamp on them. Well, the $200 back then was about $4,800 in then money versus $200 today. And as you know, that big beautiful bill act that passed, obviously it took the $200 off. So come January 1st in 2026, there will be no tax stamp, which is good. But honestly, we should just take these guys off the list to begin with, because they were actually designed by Hiram for shooters to not disturb their neighbors. So they could go plinking in the yard and not disturb the people around them. That was the original intent. All right, so as you can see, we got different shapes and sizes here. We got everything from the 9mm to 223. Actually, most of these are 9mm and 223. But most of them can handle other calibers, like 5.7, 22, 17, 22 or 22 mag. It just all depends on who makes it. So make sure you read about your suppressor when you get it to make sure that it's going to meet your needs, and chances are it'll work with other calibers as well. So I've got a few different here. I got Yankee Hill Machine, I've got a couple from Rugged, GSL, Huxworks, and I've got another Huxworks flow in my other rifle that we'll show you in a bit and tell you the differences between the two. Okay, so with that said, my firearms here are safe. Okay, this is open, there's no magazine in here, and there's nothing inside. And the 22 we're gonna demo, okay, there's nothing inside here, and there is no magazine either. So with that said, there's direct thread, and we're gonna do that first. So for direct thread, you remove your thread protector and save these things. If you don't have a can on it, put the thread protector on, because if you damage your threads, you're gonna have to buy a new barrel, and that's not gonna make you happy. Okay, and so direct thread is exactly how it sounds. And you can do this on the AR platform as well. It direct threads it on. Now, with the AR platform, if you have a barrel less than 16 inches and you put the suppressor on it, you need 2 tax stamps. You need one for the short barreled rifle until January 1st, that is, and you'll need one for the can. So some people will do what's called a weld. They will weld, they'll get a shorter barrel, let's say an 11-inch barrel, and they'll put the suppressor on there, and they'll have their gunsmith weld it on. So now it is one complete barrel, and that gets you to only have to pay for 1 tax stamp. But that's going away, praise the Lord, because that is the dumbest rule ever. Like, bad guys are gonna pay 200 bucks. Let's be real. All right, so again, because it's not on there, I am going to put my thread protector back on, because these guns ain't cheap. And while we're talking about the types too, there's one more thing I want to point out. This is actually a fully suppressed barrel built on a Ruger 1022 platform. This guy is quiet. Basically, the only thing you can hear is the action going back and forth. So everything from the attachables to built-in, completely suppressed. You can pretty much get any kind of suppressor these days. So that was direct attach. Then there's also what's called a QD mount, or quick detach mount. I believe this one's from Yankee Hill. They're all basically the same. And so what you would do is you would put this on the end. This one's for 223, or 556, 223. You would put this on, and then your device or your can would go over it, and it would screw into place. Okay, and I'm gonna demonstrate that here we'll put it on one of the ARs when we're done. So let's go ahead and move on to how to mount the quick detach. Be right back. Okay, to put a QD mount on, you need your trusty armorer's wrench, and you have to remove the flash suppressor, the stock one of course. Now when you go to put these on, you want to tighten them down between like 30 and 50 foot-pounds. Same for the QD. So we'll take this guy off. This is the quick detach mount. It screws on here. Now, these will come with shims, and the reason why they do that is this particular, you don't want the ports right here going up and down. You want them side to side. Okay? Otherwise, it just blows all the gas straight up, and you can't see what you're doing. So to the side, and these guys are loud. Man, they are loud. So I already know that I need 2 shims on here, and there's my shims. So I am going to go ahead and put these on. I will screw this guy in there. Oh, good Lord, man. Come on, get in there. There we go. We'll get that on there. And then tighten her up. Okay, and as you can see, they're to the side. And so the shims, like if it was a little bit crooked, you can put the shim in, put it on again, trial and error for the most part. And then you take your can, slide it right over the top, and you screw it on, and you'll hear clicks. When the clicks stop, you're done. That's it. It's that simple. And then, if you wanted to, if you had another firearm with a QD mount, like this guy here, you can take him off and pop him on this guy. Now keep in mind, these guys are hot when they're used, so you're not going to go and grab this from one gun and put it on the other one. That's just, you know, nuts, honestly. So that's the quick detach. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you, and we're going to take this guy off, sit him to the side. I have it directly attached, which is this guy here. Okay, I'm not going to bother taking him off, but I just wanted to point out. You know what? Let's make sure this guy's opened up here. And yep, there's already no magazine in, so let's put him back up. As you will see here, make sure I get that in the shot. This is directly attached on. There's no quick, so this is what I consider permanently mounted. It is not welded, and this barrel is less than 16 inches, so I had to pay $200 for the short barrel rifle and another $200 for the can. But come January 26th, or excuse me, January 1st, 2026, you won't have to do it anymore. One thing I wanted to point out, I absolutely love this suppressor, and I want to show you why. Nothing in the chamber, just double checking. This is called a Huxworks Flow. And I'm going to point it here because I want you to see that there's chambers all around the side. So with this from Huxworks, what this guy will do is it will push the gas, instead of blowing back into the shooter's face, it'll push it more forward. And what that does is less gas in the face, less dirt on your cartridges. You know, it's just a pleasant experience when you're shooting. There's really not a disadvantage. Now, when you have short barrel rifles, these flows are fantastic. On a full length, they're good. And also when it comes to the dirty cartridges in the magazine, I don't know of any suppressor out there that will completely get rid of that. So, you know, you will still get dirt in your mags, right? You'll still want to clean them out and so on and so forth. But anyway, that is pretty much it from the suppressor field. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. I'll gladly answer any that I can. To buy a suppressor, you can get them online. If you go to jtffirearms.com, I've got a checklist on how to process your forms through the ATF eForms program, the fingerprinting and all that. Or if you go to your find a reputable dealer, remember they have to have what's called a SOT stamp, or a special occupational tax. They even tax us another fee to allow us to transfer these to you. So they're trying to tax us in any way they possibly can to keep small dealers, etc., from even wanting to transfer these things. But anyway, if you go to your local dealer, they can help you out. If you shoot something in the comments, you got any questions, comments, concerns on how to purchase one of these, we'll gladly answer your questions. There's also companies out there like Silencer Co. where you can go online, kind of fill out all the information, and then they'll have you go into a local dealer that has one of their kiosks for fingerprinting and things like that. It's a process, it's arduous, it's a pain in the backside, but again, come January you won't have to pay that $200 tax stamp anymore, so at least you'll save some money. I mean, when you buy one of these things for $300, last thing you want to do is pay another $200 just to be able to get it. It doesn't make any sense. Well, now it's going to make a little bit more sense, and hopefully we can get more of these out there and protect some additional ears as we go along. So if you like the video, do me a favor, hit like, subscribe, help out a small 100% disabled veteran owned business, small family business, and like I said, drop some comments in. If you have any questions, love to answer them for you. And that is it for our suppressors. The next video we do would likely be on how to clean these guys, because man, they can get filthy. All right, train hard and be safe.